Robert J. Conley here, live live on YouTube and Instagram. Um, Today is about the fact that the present is in your presence. The I'm going to suggest there are 5 things you can do to help yourself stay in the present. It's only in the present that we can perform. There's an English preacher named Charles Spurgeon who just did a great job of summarizing this. He said, "Yesterday is a canceled check, tomorrow is a promissory note, today is cash. Spend it wisely." And it's only in being present to the present, in being in the now, or it's like, Bill Murray. Wait, was it Bill Murray? No, no. It was anyway, somebody said, "Be the ball." It's only in being that person and being present that we can perform at high levels, and that we cannot be depressed or anxious. And so the thing about it is that when we are not present, our head goes off elsewhere. And it's then when we return to being present that we realize we haven't been performing. Whether you're in a relationship where someone says, "Wait, where'd you just go? You weren't present." You weren't performing. You weren't performing as a participant in the conversation, in your jobs, when you're not present, when you're not attentive. And the thing is that you can only, a lot of times this gets made into an issue of discipline and self-discipline. And the fact of the matter is that if you're outside of your foundational 4, you're not you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle. You're not going to be able to sustain systematic performance. And so the first question, excuse me, is to ask yourself, which of these 4 elements are missing severely, which are wanting. Look at, remember, the foundational 4 are your temperament, your aptitudes, your interests, your values. And what is it in your situation that is missing, that is causing your brain to creep into the past or to creep into the future and take you out of performance mode? And when you're standing on that foundation of those, of being in alignment with those 4 elements of yourself, you are going to experience what others will call self-discipline, and what you'll know is just a flow state. So, you just a healthy brain is always going to be seeking to put you in that place. And so it's perfectly natural that you would cease to be in the present and would be mentally wandering off. All right. So the next one, if you aren't already doing it, what are you good at? And why aren't you doing it? If you aren't already doing what you're good at, why aren't you? And in my experience, there are 2 overwhelmingly common replies to this. The first one is, in this is my assessment, but people will tell me that, well, I tried once or twice to get this job or that job, or try this or that. It just didn't work. Well, all I hear is you didn't try hard enough. You didn't keep looking. You know, Gold doesn't sit around on the surface of the earth. You've got to dig for gold. And so, the number one reason is usually that didn't look hard enough. And in fairness, this is where social where I don't want to open a can of worms here, but I'm gonna kind of be a little bit of a sissy about how I say this. But your closest friends and family are potentially your biggest challenge, because um, it is oftentimes taught in the home to keep looking hard, to have that work ethic, and to keep looking for what is the right fit. Um, and that's actually my number 2 point, and the second most common thing is that people listen to the opinion of others and the assessment of others. And people will listen. If you want to be a film director, then you go and talk to Steven Spielberg. You don't go and talk to your cousin Mike, who is hanging drywall. And there's nothing wrong with hanging drywall, but because Mike can't help you be a movie director. And so, people just listen to the wrong advice. Um, and so, the thing, the third element of this is to acknowledge and to ask yourself, are you expending maximum effort? Are you sustaining it? And the thing that the thing that will then keep people from doing that is the failure to ask question number 4, and that is, have you ruthlessly analyzed what the actual price is, to the price to be paid to make a change, or to go for that new job, to get that degree, to start that business? And the reality is that most people don't, they underestimate the psychological benefit to getting there, and to being, not getting to a goal, not getting to, I'm going to make $10 million and everything will be great, but to getting yourself to a situation where you're in a flow state every day, to get yourself in a situation where you're so happy that you don't care how much money you make. And the little secret is that when you're that happy and satisfied, you are that effective, and money ceases to become an issue because there'll be plenty of it. You'll be in a high performance state. And so people underestimate the payoff, and they overestimate, or like think in terms of just too many, they make it too big up front, as opposed to taking the time to say, okay, I want to make this change. If I do this month, this that next month, that in 3 months, it's going to take me 2 years, but if I do this diligently, I will make this change. And the old saying of, well, if you don't try, what will you be in 2 years? Yeah, you'll be 2 years older. You'll be stuck in the same place. And so, ruthlessly figure out what you can let go of, as far as either mentally, or even in stuff that you own, stuff you're paying for, overhead, whatever it is that will cause you to make that change. And then the thing that number 5 is to constantly ask yourself, are you focusing on the present? And by present, I mean both the present, meaning today, and the present, meaning the gift. Because when I say the present is in your presence, the gift is in today. And so, have you focused on that? And what you focus on, and this again, over and over again, I've dealt with people my entire working life, and I'll be admit, as a younger person, I was guilty of the same thing. I can grind it out until I get to that number. And for whatever reason, when I was in commercial real estate, the common number that guys were going to get to when life was just going to be peaches and cream was 10 million bucks. And then I met a few guys who had made 10 million bucks and had lost 10 million bucks. And it just reinforced that the prize isn't in the bank account. The prize is in the ability to be present and to be in a high energy performance state day in and day out, because you're standing on your innate being of what your natural abilities are, your temperament, your interests, and your values. And so I urge you, now I'm an asset for you to understand your temperament and your natural abilities to a higher degree. Feel free to reach out to me. And you are perfectly capable of sitting down and assessing what your values are and what your interests are, and start from the perspective of just right now, where I am, is this working for me? And if they are working for you on that level, there's a whole nother conversation to have, as far as making it work where you are. But the bottom line is that you've got to make those assessments, that analysis up front, to focus on the prize of being in a state of flow and being present every day to this wonderful thing called life. I'm Robert J. Conley. I'll see you next time.